Welcome to Trading Lounge and the US tech stocks. I'll be putting out a video today for the US markets, but the Australian, the Australian and the UK are having Monday closed. So the S&P on the weekly chart here. So we've got wave 1 and 2 and 1 and 2, and we're heading up for wave 3 here, and then wave 4. So we've got a bit of a journey. Now I could cut this 1 degree shorter here as well, but I won't confuse that at the moment. I'm also just keeping an eye on banks as well. So this is JP Morgan here. So from the big bear market low here, that's 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 here. So we're also going up for 3, 4. So you can see this sort of thing here. Now some of the other stocks have got this, like Amazon is very much like this as well. So it's one of the threads that we're following at the moment. So we're going up to this little orange wave 5 here, which is minor degree of intermediate degree here. So from the weekly to the daily chart here, we'll just pick this up. It's a little bit messier here, but the 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 here, and then we're going up for 1 and 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4 and 5 here. So here we're looking up here. So I'm being a little bit conservative at the moment with this. So what I'm thinking here is 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5 up here to have this, and then we'll have our ABC pattern here for this wave 4 here. So we're quite close to for this top to play out here. Now one of the things that I use as a bit of a guide stick is the trading level. So when this pushes up here, what I will do, it will just become a very simple, to confirm things, it'll become a very simple operation using the trading levels. We've got a major level here, and then we've got minor 1, 2 and 3 that make up minor group 1. Now if minor, the top of minor group 1, the 5,300, that fails to become a tested support, then we know that it will roll over. Now if it becomes a tested support, it will look like a pattern like this. So we'll have the arrival at the 5,300, the arrival, the reaction, the first high above the level, all this sort of stuff, and this will trigger long trade. So we will be putting our trading hat on rather than our analyst hat when we work this level across here, because we may need to move up higher. If we drill in here and pick it up from this wave 4 here on 1,000 ticks on the intraday here. So let me just tune this in here. So we've got this wave 3 here with an ABC for wave 4, and then 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we're looking to go up yonder here. So from this wave 4 here, we're looking for green 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up here for this of 5 of 5. So that means if I can just play this out here, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here. So we're going to have some sort of little ABC pattern in here, can pull back 50-60%. Then we're going to have wave 3, so this will be the arrival, the reaction for wave 4, the first high above the level for wave 5, and this is where it becomes sort of interesting here, because at this point we'll either come further down here and this top will be correct, or we're going to push up here. And if we're going to push up here, then we can look to go long again at that point. So this will be 3, 4, 5 here. Take that with a pinch of salt, but basically that's the pattern, that's the situation that we're looking for. So if we can trade up to here, we've got long trades in the market, in the NASDAQ as well, and so on. So we can just sort of hang in there till we get to this point here. And as I mentioned, JP Morgan's at 200. So obviously anything with a lot of zeros on it is going to be a sticky number. So that's going to stick there as well. So yeah, that's kind of it really. Yeah, so that's that. And we go over to the NASDAQ, and we'll do basically the same thing here. Won't go to the bigger picture, but we can look. Well, this is a little bit tricky here. This is still giving me 3 waves down here. I've got 5 up here, but this could be an A and a B and a C wave here and have 1 more leg down here and then move up. So just be a little bit careful about that particular pattern. So I don't have a nice clean 5 waves down here to finish me off. So I've got 5 waves here, so it's more like an A and a B and a C wave here, and then a little move down. So 18.1 is going to be the floor there, so you have to keep your stop under that. But the same thing applies here. We'll end up, won't be too much higher than the 18.5, but we'll get a classic trading levels pattern across this as well. So that's how that can play out. If you're keen to go long, you could probably probably go long above that top there because we've got 5 waves there, but just be careful because this hasn't really sort of played out neat and tidy here. So it plays out better as an A wave and then an ABC for the B wave and down for the C wave. But yeah, we've got 5 waves here, so I could easily be wrong, and you know, coming into the holidays, there's sort of lower volume and all these sort of things. So, but anyway, that's it at that point for that. And with Apple here, we're still looking for further downside here, so we could probably look at this as 1 and 2 here, and you know, 3, 4, 5 to come down here for this 3rd wave, and then a 4th wave over here, and then a 5th wave to the downside here. So this is not completed to the downside at this stage, so nothing really cooking there with Apple. Now Amazon here is a bit like Morgan's, Morgan's the bank, so not all the banks, but as 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 here, going up into 3, 4, 5, all this up here. So this is, it's a little bit different, but we've got blue 1 and 2 here, and then this one and this 1 and 2 here, and we're going up into this section here for this. So this, all of this trend here, it's not exactly the same, but it's quite close to the bank. So that's very helpful because obviously we've got to see what's controlling the indices, and you know, it will come from any leading stocks to the upside. You know, obviously we've got NVIDIA and Microsoft and so on. They're all, you know, in the same bunch as well, but that's that. So on this one here, if we pick it up from this wave 4 here on 1000 ticks, so we've got wave 3 here, wave 4 here, we're just working to the upside of 1 and 2 and 1 and 2. And the thing last week, you know, all coming into the holiday session and all the rest of it, we just really wanted to see how the market would play out at the 180. You know, it was resistance, and we just thought we'd wait until it becomes a support. I won't do much with it today. We probably get a little 5 waves up here, and then it'll retest this again and do something like that. We could probably look at it over here or something, but our target is up here. We've got a few positions in here. Once that becomes the tested support, we can move our stop up to this area over here as well. So that's where that is. And meta platforms, unfortunately, we're going to be coming down a little bit further here, so we'll have to look at this as wave 3. I said 3 and ABC for wave 4, and we'll have to pick it up here to go long at this point here again as well. So a little bit more downside for this to come. I'll go from 1000 to 100 here to pick this up here. So we've got to count 5 waves down. Whoops, count 5 waves down from this last high here. So this A wave, B wave, and C wave down here. So I've got this as 1 and 2, a bit shaky on the 1 here, but the 3rd wave seems to be playing out as 1, 2, 3, 4, and then I guess we're going to get some sort of bounce off the 480 here for this wave 4 here and wave 5 on here as well. So that's a little bit more downside to come on that one. So this is NVIDIA on the weekly chart here, just on the bigger picture. In a way as well, this is like a little wave 4 here, so we're counting another little 5 waves in this little section here, but this sort of plays out much the same as the other stocks as well, but we could see last week that this was getting, you know, closing a little bit lower. So that's where we are for NVIDIA. And if I move into this particular pattern at the top here, into 1000 ticks, it looks a little bit like this. So I need to play it out as wave 3 here, an A wave and a B wave and a C wave down here. So I'm thinking that we just need another little move down here. So we talked about moving the stop to 832, so I've adjusted that on the portfolios. I think that I have. Let me just have a look at that. NVIDIA, yeah, so that's all good there at that point. So yeah, just sort of wait that out, I guess. Unfortunately, probably a little bounce in here because this move down here appears to be corrective. But we could possibly have a low in there, and I could look at it as wave 1 and 2 and so on, but we'll just be safe and look at the worst possible case. Netflix here, we'll have to put a bit of a top in here for wave 3 and bring it in line with the other markets as a little ABC for wave 4 here. Now we know wave 4s can get complicated, so we'll let time heal this pattern, and once it matures you can kind of see what they are, but this is just the first leg down here, the little 5 wave move down here, so we're going to get some bounce in the B wave here. I'm not that fussed with it, and when we get 5 waves here we'll pick it up at that point. And over here for Google, and Google's sort of in its own little space or in its own way, but the main point here, this move here is corrective, right? So we need to take that top out. We haven't taken that top out yet, so we'll probably push up there and take the top out there, and then it's going to fall back in some way or another, you know. So that's what we're looking for at this point. You can take profit here if you want, or we can just build back in over this side over here for this. How far will this come back? Probably to the wave 4 one lesser degree, but it'll depend on also what else is happening in the markets. But we need to make a top well, we need to make a top above this one here. We may have done there. Maybe I could use that as 1 2 3 4 5 here. Either way, like I said, when we first arrived here, you can take the money off the table if you want, or we can just wait it out. It's going to be a little bit time consuming, but once it finishes its little dance here, I was thinking about a classic trading level pattern with the arrival, the reaction, the first high above the level, and some sort of ABC pattern here. So I guess when the other markets are ready to sort of push up, then this will push up with it as well, I guess. And Microsoft, so I've adjusted the stop. I've adjusted the stop to 402. And it does appear that we're going to have a little 5 waves down here, and we'll have some sort of little correction, then another move down into 410 probably. So I'm thinking we've got a couple of positions here. I'm thinking that we should just reduce by 50% at the moment. That will take a lot of heat off, and then we'll move back in when we're ready for this one. So I've got to bring it in line with what's happening with the other stocks as well. So yeah, unless you want to leave your stop under the 400, you know. So rightio, so we've got Tesla here. I've got 3 different counts for this, but we're just going to stay with the most practical, simple bearish pattern with an A wave down here, a B wave up here, and then counting 5 waves down here, 1 2 1 2 3 4 5, so wave 4 here, and then wave 5 to the downside here. So you know, I could probably extend this down here, like have this as wave 1 and 2 here as well, those sort of things. Bit small for a wave 4 here at this point, I understand that, but we'll see. We'll just see how it goes. But yeah, I'm certainly not going to turn bullish unless we had a proper 5 waves up here and had support on the top here. So there is different, you know, I mean, the thing here, guys, is that, and gals, is that, you know, we can also look at this, because this is corrective and this is corrective, and we could lay this out as corrective as well. We could put all of this here as a triangle pattern in here as well. And you know, so it does open up a bit of a can of worms, but the main point is that there's nothing to see here at the moment. The only thing here really is probably a short trade, but yeah, but the short trade will take that low out here. But then you're running into 150 where you're going to get a bounce anyway. So it's not that crash hot. And you're playing against the rest of the market that's bullish, you know. So in here, what we were looking at here, so I'm just going to put my wave 4 over here. So we were looking at this as well. We had a reasonable 5 waves here, so we know that because we've got 5 here, would have some sort of correction back to the 50-60%, and then 5 waves to the upside. So this is getting a bit long in the tooth, this one here as a wave 4. I could look at this as an A wave here, then a B wave, then 1 2 3 4 5 here, and then see one more move up here for this, and then come down. But this is really quite big for a wave 4 here. So I'm just wondering if we need to label this in some other weird way, you know, some WXY or something or other. But it does look and feel like it wants to come down further. It's because it's taken out this low here, right? It's come down here check back at the 180 and then taken the low out here. So that tells me that it's rejecting that number. So that puts it in a state of weakness. So that's one box ticked in terms of patterns and weakness. The second box that's ticked in terms of bearish patterns is that this particular pattern here, as a wave 4, the size of it compared to 1 and 2 and so on is too big. So it's very weighty here, and it can certainly come down at this point. If you've got a classic trading levels pattern at the 172 here or the 170, then you could look to short it. It'd be about the earliest you could sort of get in at this point, unless you want to get in and leave your stop there. But as it stands, this can be an ABC pattern here and then move up here. We could end up being in this larger wave 4 pattern here. So it's a little bit sort of, this wave 4 made it a little bit sort of complicated, probably partly because of the holidays and partly because Tesla's getting beaten up at the moment a bit, so yeah, I wouldn't sort of bank on that wave 4 being there. We might need to look at it in some other way. So I'm just going to leave it at the moment for this. Okay, alrighty, well that's it. Yeah, thanks for tuning in. Cheers.